You've done some cool things over your career and life, and one of the things I found out about you that I didn't know before, that you once spent a month living with remote Pacific Island tribes and learning from the anthropologist Simon Powell. So, can you share more about this experience? What did it teach you, and how did it shape your perspective on life and communities?
That was a fascinating experience because, well, first, before going to the Pacific, I was living for 2 years in New Zealand, and I had gone to the Fiji Island once and I wanted to go back there, but I wanted to go deeper. And I knew that staying in the tourist areas was not where I would really discover the culture, the way I wanted to discover. I mean, of course, even in tourist areas, locals have their own culture, but I wanted to go somewhere where it's really local, where foreigners have not impacted too much in terms of their own culture. And we didn't have like TripAdvisor or anything like this. So I was looking for the smallest section where there was barely anything about it. And I found this isle, which was about 2 or 3 days of boat. I think it took 3 days because there was a bank holiday that happened in between. So the boat stopped for the day. So it was normally 2 full days of traveling to get there. And so this island was an island where they elect the chiefs of all the Fijian islands. And I thought, oh, that sounds interesting because it's not only the local culture, but it's also how they impact the entire country. But they only had like, I think, one guest house there, but I wanted to live with local people. I didn't want to be just, separated. I guess I didn't know really anthropology then, but that was kind of my dream, to live like that. And so in the boat, I asked people, is there anyone I could stay locally? This is the island I'm going, and how do you stay with local people? And I had read a little bit about it, that in the Fiji Islands, you could be a guest in a home. And I had read, how you have to behave also as a guest. Like, for example, as a guest, you're not supposed to help with anything. You're supposed to be a guest to be served. That's not why I wanted to be a guest, of course, but I had read a little bit of the codes to understand how I had to behave to not break the codes and to be just as an observer. And someone in the boat said, oh, yes, my cousin or the cousin of my cousin. And they're like all small islands, so everybody ends up to be connected. And they gave me a name of a person. They said, when you arrive on the island, just ask for this person. So we arrived in the island, booked the guest house for the first night. And then the following day started to ask people, the name of this guest. And so the person received us in their home. But not just for like a drink, a refreshment, but didn't really want, I think, to host us. It was me and my former partner, and suggested us to the neighbor who was the brother, and so we ended up to stay with the brother and his wife, and so it was a little bit. It was very interesting because we were initially we were there as strangers, and they were kind of imposed to have us. So it was a little bit of an uncomfortable situation. I mean, I was only in my 20s then, so I was not really experienced with this kind of traveling. And I was feeling uncomfortable to see the woman doing all the work, the cooking for us. And eventually I got a little bit fed up to be, just a guest and to be served, I just thought this is not fair, like they're hosting us. so we should probably help. And then we started to help, but then some misunderstandings started to happen because I think she presumed that the help, she didn't know the line because it never happened before. So then it went from helping to her becoming demanding.
In what way? Like demanding what you should do?
Also liked to buy things, and so it was quite a very odd situation. And then I realized, God, what have I done? Because you want to go into a culture to try to learn about it, and you realize that you imposed your own without realizing, and you change the dynamic of many things when this happens.